Hello YouTube, it's only PvP Cat here, and today we have a podcast with a professional, and here you link to his channel in case you need it in the description. And as always, it's gonna be like this sort of a podcast when we are talking, and I'm trying to read chat, but not concentrating on this. And of course, at the end of the stream, I will read some questions from the chat that you will address to a professional. And while we're waiting for some first viewers, I'd like to welcome professional here. Hello, and say hello to the chat so we can test.
Hello, how's everyone?
Yeah, there is no one yet on the stream because that's how YouTube works, I guess. I don't really know yet, but anyways, there will be some viewers soon. So first of all, I wanted to discuss with you, I wanted to start the discussion with your overall impression of Red Dead Online in 2020. I saw your video and you was like really disappointed with Red Dead Online. Like you said, it's a terrible year. Oh.
Yeah, I thought that 2020 was the worst year that the game has had. I know that the game's been out only for a little over 2 years, but 2019 just had so much content in it. It just had so many DLCs. Had what, 4 DLCs in it, and 2 of them were pretty big. And in this one, we had just 2 DLCs. We just had 1 role, the Naturalist, which not a lot of people asked for, and I haven't really seen that many people that actually like the Naturalist. And then we had the Bounty Hunter expansion, where of course they cut daily challenges in half. I was expecting at least to see possible properties in this year, last year, I'm sorry, because the fact that GTA got Cayo Perico, GTA got this huge, massive DLC, and I felt like they just pushed Red Dead to the side just to make as much money from GTA as possible.
Okay, so you said about properties, but do you really think, do you now think we will see properties in 2021?
I think we'll probably see it because I remember there was that leak that was like a few months ago when they had that they found like the properties in the game files. Remember when they had like the Saint Denis mansion for 600 gold and then they had those ranches. So I think we'll see properties, and I think Rockstar's also talked about it in interviews. They have to do something for Red Dead Online in 2021 because a lot of people are pissed and a lot of people have left the game since the daily challenges have been nerfed.
Yeah, I agree, but look, this leak, unfortunately, it's something that was in the game files from the very first day of beta. So this with properties, it's like, you know, one of these, I found many of them, when not me, but a dude who was data mining and shared the results with me, a lot of files like that, and I was like, wow, we're gonna see heists, and I was pretty sure, because you know it makes sense to give us heist in December, and they were talking about action-based update, and there are many probably contents that they cut at some point, or is still waiting, that shows that there will be a heist, but no, there is no heist. And I was like, well, there should have been heist. It was all pointing to the heist and leaks and logics, but no. I guess it's just a Rockstar, and that's how they do it. So I hope that there will be properties, but I'm not as optimistic as you. But look, I wanted to ask you something. So you said it was a terrible year, and I was also thinking, well, it's a terrible year for Red Dead Online. But then I thought that at the beginning of 2020, I had a podcast like this with John Sly Reckon, and we were discussing the state of Red Dead Online. And Red Dead Online was in a terrible state from technical perspective at that moment. So it was like, it was unplayable. It was unplayable on all the platforms, but they have fixed it. You know, it's much smoother experience now on a PC, and there are animals on consoles. They are back, so and overall game is more stable. So what do you think about that? I mean, my point is, maybe they took the time to fix the game, and only then they planning to release some content. What do you think?
The issue of Rockstar is that sometimes I feel like they just rush these updates out without testing them, because if they had tested the Frontiers Pursuits update like thoroughly before they released it, even simple game testers would have been able to see that the animal spawns were broken. And this same logic also goes back to GTA. If you remember when they added the Doomsday heist, and they were adding that stupid orbital cannon into the game, if any like tester would have just played the Doomsday heist extensively, and they could have tested the orbital cannon and see, is there some kind of glitch or something that somebody could possibly abuse to get an unfair advantage in this game? They simply messed around with it. They would have been able to easily find the orbital cannon glitch before the Doomsday heist was even released. But they decided to release the Doomsday heist, release the orbital cannon. There was that glitch. It took them, how long did it take them to fix that glitch? It took them years to fix the orbital cannon glitch. It was just a disaster. So Frontier's Pursuits, I guess they were a little bit faster with the animal spawns, but if they had just played their own DLC a little bit longer, maybe even possibly delayed it, they would have seen that those animal spawns were a problem before even releasing it. So I do salute them for fixing it, but at the same time, I think like if they put some more effort in, they could have prevented this from happening in the first place.
Maybe it's because they, you know, keep in secret all these updates. Just I don't know why they're doing it actually, but it's not like they giving away too much information. It looks to me so. Maybe that's why they don't have enough, you know, testing, because they cannot afford test it in a hire some third-party testers to test the updates, so they somehow test them with their own facilities. Then that's why testing is not good enough. I think it's what okay. It actually reminds me of ideas that I wanted to ask you. Why do you think Rockstar is so, I don't know how we want to say it in English, like they're not sharing too much information, they're so close. It's a direct translation from Russian, so I guess you know what I mean. They just don't talk too much.
Why they don't communicate with their fans?
Yeah,
like...
not only with the fans, it's also not something that I understand, but they don't even share information about their future plans too much. They like announce updates for Red Dead Online in 1 week before the actual update time, last updates at least.
I understand you completely, and this issue is also on GTA. It's just something that Rockstar has been doing for many years. I never understood it personally either. Like, Rockstar is like one of those few companies that doesn't go to E3. Like, they don't go to E3. They don't really show like their new games, whether it's a new GTA or it's a new Red Dead. They're just pretty secretive on that stuff. So, me personally, I'm not even sure why they don't communicate with their fans a lot. But I can tell you though that it's not a good thing. It's a lot of people are pissed off about that, and that's probably the largest complaint that I've heard about Rockstar in regards to Red Dead. Like, people are pissed off at them for a variety of reasons, but the number one thing that I've heard that people are angry about is just the lack of communication, because I'm a pretty patient person. I don't mind waiting, like, you know, months for a long time for a DLC if it's a good DLC, but at least I want to get an idea of what I'm waiting for. Like, you know, make a teaser, or, you know, tell us that, like, in half a year you guys are going to get the biggest DLC or something like that, but unfortunately, they didn't do that. I know they did that for Cayo Perico, where they said we're going to have the biggest DLC later in the year, but they don't really do anything like that for Red Dead. I wish they would give us some type of outline, you know, something to tell us what we could be excited for, because it would get players excited. And think about it this way: if they also made an outline of like things that were supposed to come out on the game, that would get players excited, saying, oh, there's going to be a big DLC coming out in a few months. I'm going to get on the game. I'm going to grind. I'm going to start playing the game. But no, it's like you said, it's like 1 week before the DLC comes out. Oh, Naturalist in a week. It's just like, it's like, what? And it's just such a random DLC too.
And actually, I will sorry, one technical moment. You seem to lag in a bit. Chat says, and I hear it as well. But
lagging?
Yeah, like sound is lagging a bit, but I don't know. Maybe some download is going on, or maybe some issues with internet. But I can at least I can understand all perfectly.
You want me to call back, or?
Maybe let's try call back 1 second. Maybe
okay.
It will fix the connection.
Okay, sure.
Let me. Okay, I will try to call him. Sup, test. Testing, testing. Say something.
Hello everyone.
It's much better, much better. So yeah, it's a Discord call. Anyone saw that it's a Discord call. About what you say about the people being pissed because they don't share any sort of information. Well, it's in my opinion, that what was the clown movement is all about. Some people think and say that it's like, oh, they wanted somehow to force Rockstar to, you know, release some sort of an update, but it's impossible. You cannot force a company to release an update because it takes like a lot of time to make an update, even an update, not even a DLC or something. And so it was more about Rockstar to at least start communicating with community. It didn't really work, but for some time they started to like try a little bit to show that they are listening to the community. I'm not quite sure whether it's true actually.
I would say that your clown movement was actually a really good idea because what happened was a bunch of gaming articles, like gaming news, they started like picking. I think it was Kotaku that ran a story on your clown movement. I remember a few articles they ran stories on the clown movement, and that got a lot of attention. And even, you know, even if Rockstar didn't address it there, somebody from Rockstar had to have seen that clown thing that was going on. So many people were dressing up as that. It was
Look,
just
there is an interesting story before. I'm not quite sure whether it's true because I haven't checked it and I knew about only in this December. I found it out. But it seems like on August or they had this investors call. And someone asked Strauss Zelnick about this clown movement. So Take-Two CEO. So so high of not even a Rockstar, but Take-Two management found out about this going on. I'm not quite sure whether it's true. I just saw it in a sort of a newswire. But someone shared this article with me, but it was article from August. But yeah, one only something I have to point out, it was not like my clown movement. It was before I joined it, but I just came up with this idea about how to attract attention of media, and surprisingly it worked. By the way, thank you for joining that movement back in July. It helped a lot. So overall, what do you think about the future? Now let's talk about few words about the future. Are you optimistic about Red Dead Online in 2021? Oh no.
I am. I'm pissed off about the state that the game is in, but I think if Rockstar plays their cards right, this game could get double or triple its fan base in a few years. I do fully believe that.
Okay, but what about playing the cards right? I see this release of a standalone version is a pretty smart move. It's one of the moves that worked actually. It's definitely worked. You
Releasing Oh, sorry, I'll continue.
No, it's small information, and remember what you was trying to say. I just want not to forget. On the 8th of February, there will be investors call from Take-Two again, and there we will find interesting information how good Red Dead Online standalone is performing. Just so if someone is interested, so there will be information. Yes, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, it's okay. I think that I think they might be using Red Dead Online as some kind of experiment, maybe to see if they do minimum content, to see how much money they can possibly make from that. You know, that's how a lot of these CEOs and these corporations think. And that Strauss guy that you actually mentioned, I did a video on him a year ago. He's the same guy who actually said that loot boxes are a form of freedom of speech. So it's this is the CEOs that you have like at these companies and how they think.
Look, I saw him talking about services like Xbox Game Pass, and he said that it's a bad choice for gamers, not for the companies, but for gamers, and that's why they are not like looking in this direction. To me, it's obvious that the Game Pass model is not a bad choice for gamers. It might be not the best choice for big publishers to give their games for free, especially like GTA, such big games. But for gamers, it's a super cool choice. Like, pay money is definitely it's Netflix of gaming. And he said that. I don't know whether he really believes in such stuff or just saying. But yeah, I see what you're saying about But I don't. I mean, I don't really know what's going on there in obviously in Take-Two and Rockstar, but I'm not quite sure whether they are really happy with Red Dead Online results. So what do you think?
I don't think so either, because I remember, you remember when they made that, I don't know if you remember, they made that post on GTA, I think that was like around the casino time, and they were like, they made a post and they said thank you to all the YouTubers for all the attention that GTA's gotten, and then they say GTA's gotten something million amount of views, but they just completely ignored Red Dead, and they didn't even talk about Red Dead YouTubers or any of that in their posts.
They ignored Red Dead and many posts, like they were talking something about GTA and nothing about Red Dead. There were sometimes they even forgot to post a newswire on Tuesday about weekly updates.
Oh, yeah.
So much they don't really care. And it's obvious, I don't know, except for new players, there is no reason for anyone to buy gold in this game. Like, for anyone who's playing for a few weeks or more. I don't know. Have you ever bought gold, by the way?
No, never. I've never even bought a shark card.
Yeah, it makes sense. But because you started to play Red Dead Online. Actually, I started to play Red Dead Online from a new account, like a little more than a month ago. And you know what? It's kind of tempting to at least use this offer $5 for 25 gold bars, because it's kind of hard on a low level, like really hard to get gold with this daily challenge nerf and stuff like this. So now maybe they can do some improvement in sales, unfortunately, maybe, because they have done nothing good in my opinion, but they can get some money.
You're hoping, I know, I'm hoping myself that, you know, Rockstar with more sales, they might do better content, but you never know. We could get something, we could get something just like Naturalist again. I could totally see that happening. I hope that we actually get something in March, possibly when the Outlaw Pass expires.
It's a late March, yeah, late March at best.
Maybe we'll stand. Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I'm saying it's a late March at best, and it's not really optimistic because there are 2 months till that moment. I mean, it looks bad for the game, even if it will get something there, unfortunately.
Well, if standalone sells a lot of copies, which it already is selling, hopefully, you know, we get better content and more frequent updates, because I'd like to see at least 3 updates on Red Dead Online in a year. I remember in 2019 we got 4 updates, even though the first one was kind of crappy, the second one was better, and then the third one was the best one, and the fourth one was also kind of good. So I'd like to see more frequent updates on the game.
Yeah, I'd like to see this too, but so far it looks like pessimistic. And I mean, you are correct. They're not thinking, oh, we should add more good content to get more money. They, like, if they see they getting more money, they will be, oh, it's cool, we have done nothing and got a lot of money, a lot of profit. So someone will receive a bonus from CEOs, and anyone will be happy except for players, like, and fans of the game. You know, because many people are saying to me, like, well, what do you expect? You have to buy gold first, and then they will see that game is profitable, and they will start adding content. And I do not believe it works this way. I think they should add content first and then get money. That's the deal. That's how it should work. If we will pay, for example, if for some reason all the players will decide to buy gold, they will just report that Red Dead Online is doing super successfully, and it's not gonna affect how much content, new content we will see. It's my something that I'm afraid of. What do you think about this?
Well, it's like I said in my like a few of my rants, like the review and the other one. I think that, you know, I understand that Rockstar is a business and they got to make money, and that's why we have free content. I totally get that, but I think that their approach to the daily challenges is the wrong way to do it. I think that if they want to sell more gold bars on the game, I think the solution is simple. They just need to add more content. If they add more content and they add, like, not just like a small DLC, but a big DLC with a lot of stuff to buy, like if they added properties and you could customize that, and they added, you know, a bunch of new horses, a bunch of new guns, you know, other activity, new wagons, new camp upgrades. You know, there's just so many things they could possibly add. If they add like a ton of stuff like that, I guarantee you would see like an increase in gold bar sales. Obviously, there would be people that would grind and never buy gold bars, but you would see much more sales if they added more content. And it's the same thing with like you look at games like Modern Warfare and Cold War, and I know, you know, it's a first-person shooter, it's a different game, but whenever they release a season, they release a new season on the game, you see their sales, Activision sales, just go up because people are buying the new battle pass, they're buying the new season, they want to buy, like, you know, the new operator skins, they want to buy a bunch of stuff, and that has worked really well for Activision. So they frequently add more content to the game, and they boost their sales. Rockstar doesn't add a lot of content to their game, and they're hoping to get massive amount of sales, and it doesn't work like that.
Okay, what do you think will be the most like important and profitable, let's say, for Rockstar thing to add? You said new content. Which one is the most important? And I will say like roles that includes heists, properties, or let's say release something like Mexico.
Wait,
Mexico.
And
what kind of content will give them the best result in terms of game success?
Oh,
and
if they
if you choose
sell
between
more
these
gold bars,
three, or some other.
It'll be a map expansion. That would be the best way. Like Mexico, like you said, if they did a map expansion, that would be the most profitable thing for them. I'm gonna have a video giving my thoughts about that eventually coming up, but I do think the map expansion will be the most profitable, because think about it this way: they already have the layout for the map in Red Dead Redemption 1, and like people have, like, you know, gotten over to like Mexico, even though there's, you know, not much over there in the game. So it is possible entirely that they could take the map and they could, you know, make an updated version. And if they added Mexico to Red Dead Online, think about it this way: there would be so many people that would get on Red Dead Online just to play that DLC, because there's a lot of people that don't play Red Dead Online like at all. They only play the single player and they refuse to play the online. And think about it this way: they add Mexico, a lot of those people that only play single player, they'll play the online at that point because they want to see Mexico. A lot of players wanted to see Mexico with this game, so if they added a map expansion, I think that would be the most profitable thing for them.
It's even more people who played Red Dead Online at least once and they quit like forever, and these people will come back, I believe, if there will be map expansion. Actually, the chat is totally agrees with you. There are so many opinions about the map expansion is number one they should focus on. Okay, but why it's not happening? What's your theory? I mean, it's obviously almost in the game. They have to put some work and they can finish it, and we will have some big game changer. Why it's not being released yet? What do you think?
I think that the reason they're not releasing it is because they don't see a profit potential in it. Probably, at least that's the way the CEOs probably see it. Is if they were going to release this big map expansion, they're probably seeing as they're gonna put this huge amount of effort in, so they want to do something in that they're gonna get a lot of money back from that. So they're gonna try to monetize that as much as possible, and they're probably trying to figure out how they could possibly monetize a map expansion. I mean, they did it with Cayo Perico on GTA, where they added like a ton of new vehicles. They added the new guns. So they added a lot of stuff in that DLC. So they're probably thinking of what expensive things can we add in like a map expansion, and they might even do it where you might have to like buy. It might sound ridiculous, but you might have to buy some type of pass or something like that to get into Mexico. Like, imagine there's like a cutscene when you like they make a bridge to Mexico, and then you have to like pay like 25 gold or something like that to like access the new map.
Well, they can close it behind some role, but make some role. I don't know, call it whatever you want. Some bandit, not even a bandit, but I don't know, traveler, and sell it for gold, and that's gonna be the only person who will have access to, you know, Mexico. It's actually something they might do, and it's a way to monetize, but they are not still not doing it for some reason, and I'm really surprised. I have no idea why Mexico is still not in the game. Oh, for example, from chat suggestion, a ticket to Mexico will be $500. Yeah, like make some sort of a ship that goes to Mexico, and that's the only way to get there. And if you will, I don't know, die, you will respawn on the regular part of the map and sell this ticket for money or gold. It's enough. They can definitely do it. It's gonna look greedy, but I'm guarantee you everyone will be happy anyway. So, but they are still not doing it. It's super weird.
I see there's one guy in the chat who said about the Jessica story. I think that they're referring to the Jessica Leclerc story. What do you think about that?
I don't miss it, honestly. I was not impressed with online story at all. You know, they have released not the full, not now the story is not full, but from the beginning there was even fewer missions, and they added additional missions in February, I believe. Don't you remember when in 1919 they added at some point additional this Land of Opportunity missions? In some of the small updates, like in February or in some.
I think it was the May 20th.
Yeah,
I think it was the May 20th.
Probably, yeah. But I haven't mentioned it even. That's that much I don't really care about the story. On the other hand, I enjoyed the small story for a Moonshiner. I really enjoyed it a lot. I mean, in my opinion, Moonshiner is not from the gameplay perspective, but from the overall point of view is a really good role. I really liked it.
Moonshiner had a great story. I liked it that much. I was impressed that it was actually a decent story, and it was serious also. You know, when she got her face burned also in that, and you fought the evil revenue agents, and I also liked it a lot because I know the history. That was actually the early IRS, which I really liked the history of that, because the revenue men, they were real in the West. They were called revenuers, but they were a real group. But for the Jessica Leclerc story, I had kind of mixed feelings about it. I thought that it's a mission that you play it once or twice and then you get bored of it and then you don't want to play it anymore. But at the same time, I still want to see an ending to it, at least something, because that was supposed to be the main story threaded online, and it was about who killed her husband. And it's been, it's going to be this May, it's going to be 2 years, and we're never going to find out the final conspirator, because the final conspirator was the guy's wife, the guy in the white suit that you killed. His wife was like the final conspirator, and like she was like talking to you on that cliff, like, we're going to meet again soon, and we're going to plan something, and it's been a year and a half, and nothing has happened.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, if you will ask players, what would you like to see in the next update, for example, I doubt that continuation of a story will be in the top 5, even, maybe even.
I agree.
But on the other hand, yeah, it looks like they just unfinished the work and they're like, oh, it's fine, who cares? Actually, there are many signs of this attitude, I will say, in how Rockstar treats Red Dead Online. There are so many stuff that is just, it looks like a mistake. For example, I will show it on a screen of a stream now. These ability cards, sharpshooter and gunslinger's choice. It's just they mixed up the pictures, because obviously sharpshooter should have this picture because it's all about sniper rifles and scopes, and gunslinger's choice should have this picture because it's all about dual wielding pistols and revolvers, but they are mixed up and nobody cares. They just released it as like, oh, who cares? And there were many stuff like this. Sometimes they mispronounce words in the newswire, sometimes they don't release newswire at all, and lots and lots of this. It's like, it looks like an unprofessionalism, I don't know. But it's hard, it's painful to see for someone who thinks that it's now a good game, but it can be the greatest sandbox ever if they will put some effort and resources in this. And then you see that they don't care so much that they don't even fix some smaller mistakes. And I'm not even talking about fixing bugs that they are still in the game for like more than a year. So some bugs, and it's really not cool to see this.
I remember the day that Cayo Perico on GTA came out. That was December 15th. That was a Tuesday, and Tuesdays are Red Dead, event days, and they didn't even have it. Like, I don't think they even had a newsletter post on that day.
They had no post. No post there was.
They had no new legendary bounty, which the third legendary bounty was then released, I think, like a week after that. So they had
They just kept it.
nothing there.
They just kept it.
It's like they knew that Red Dead Redemption just wasn't going to compete with GTA that week, so they just didn't bother with it.
Okay, but here is an interesting question. Once you're talking about, do you think? I mean, if they thought that it's not gonna compete, then their logic is like the same people are playing Red Dead Online and GTA Online, and once there is a big release in GTA Online, all these players will just play GTA Online and will not care about Red Dead Online. Do you think it's true? Because I think it's a different players that are playing this game. I mean, some play both games, but overall, I really think there are many Red Dead Online players who don't play GTA Online, at least actively.
Well, I have some experience with this because I've played I have like 400 days on GTA and played Red Dead extensively. And what I'll say about this is that I know there's a lot of players that I know that are like really high levels on Red Dead Online, and the players that are really high level on Red Dead Online, usually they don't like GTA Online. They play GTA Online, and usually they're actually high level. They were former high levels on GTA Online. They just stopped playing the game. They just didn't play it for some time because they got sick of it. And usually, like from the high level players, I hear that they don't like about GTA Online is they don't like the crazy war zone, the Oppressor Mark II. They just don't like that stuff. So there are players that kind of play both games, but then you also have the majority of the players, I feel like, are players that are loyal to just one game specifically. Like they're just, they like one game much more than the others, whether it's Red Dead or whether it's GTA. I've heard arguments on both sides, but yeah, there are people that just play Red Dead Online, they don't play GTA Online, and there's plenty of people that just play GTA Online and they don't give Red Dead Online a chance at all.
So there was a comment from a chat that Professional is speaking about me right now, and yeah, I guess there are many players who connect with this. But if there is, I mean, I also believe that there is a separate group of players that play Red Dead Online, at least prefer Red Dead Online more. Why they will not like separate this project and try to develop this differently? Because to me it seems like they are trying to copy most of the decisions from GTA Online, or they are testing, if sometimes they are just testing decisions that they will later implement in GTA Online in this game. They don't treat it as a, you know, standalone project, let's say it like this. Why is this happening? What do you think? Whether you agree that it's the case?
I think that they've made so many shark cards on GTA Online, adding all these businesses and all this other stuff to the game, and they're probably trying to replicate that same thing in Red Dead Online and see if this stuff works. But I'll say though that, and a lot of Red Dead Online players, people that are really passionate about the game that I've talked to, they really hate when stuff like this happens. Like when Rockstar basically tries to do things similar to GTA Online, Red Dead Online, they really don't like it. Like there's a lot of people that I know personally that don't like the you remember when they did the gun changes, when they made the gun animations faster, like shooting? Like pretty much everyone that I've talked to, they like the looting system. The new looting system, when you loot faster, most people like that. But as for the guns, like shooting faster, that's more controversial. There's like groups of players that like the old style, how like guns were guns took a little bit longer to shoot. And
it's not only about it's not only about gun shooting, it was also about base movement as well. So you started to move much faster, especially strafing from side to side, and it was, you know, with the older animation it looked more natural and more something that more believable. But now with this faster animation, it started, Red Dead Online lost a little bit of its charm to me, in my opinion. I was also really not happy about this change, because
I actually think I know the reason why they did that. You know why I think they did that?
Because of PC release.
Well, I don't think it was even the PC release. I think the reason that they made everything just faster, the movement, the shooting, I think it was because there were so many people that were just constantly complaining and just saying, "Oh, this game is too slow paced," blah blah blah. This.
Yeah, maybe. Like kids, mostly kids, I believe.
Yeah, and I've seen so many comments, like really stupid comments that I've seen. Like if somebody wants to argue with me on, like, Red Dead Online, I have no issue with that. But then I take another issue when I just see really ignorant and stupid comments. Like, I've seen comments on my channel when, like, people say, "Oh, Red Dead Online sucks. There's no cars in this game." I'm like, what? Like this is the year 1898. It's like, what kind of cars do you expect to have in this game? Like, only rich people had cars in 1898, and they were in cities like New York and Chicago. And even then, a horse would still be much faster. A car from 1898 would not be able to handle this type of road, like the dirt roads that you have in Red Dead Online. You'd be able to handle all the hills and all the other stuff. There's also people that like say, "Oh, there's no automatic weapons in this game. This game sucks," and it's just people. There's so many players that are groups of players that are way too used to this fast-paced, like Call of Duty type of environment. They want everything to be fast-paced. They want everything to be just quicker. And Rockstar, they basically kind of sucked up to those people, and they made everything just much faster in Red Dead Online. And I think they did it primarily to appeal to those people, to try to get more people like that to play Red Dead Online. I just don't like that. I wish there was like maybe separate lobbies where you could have one lobby where people shoot faster and another lobby where you have the old slower animation. Maybe that could be a balance to that. But I just didn't like it. It was just because all the players constantly kept complaining, and that's what Rockstar did it to appease them.
Yeah, maybe, because definitely it more looks like GTA this way, and they thought, well, maybe we will get more gold sales if everyone will be moving faster, and the game will feel not so slow-paced but I don't know, I get used to this animation, but sometimes I remember how much more of an atmosphere there was back then when it was much slower. So they tried to copy the model from GTA again. That seems like that, and focus on the same category of players. Why not develop this project separately? I don't know. Find some other monetization strategy, like, I don't know, premium season pass that you will sell not for gold but for money, or something like this. Like, this Fallout first, I don't know whether you've been watching for Fallout 76, but there is like basically a season pass that you can buy each month, and it gives you some advantages, but you have to pay real money for that. And I believe that's the way to capitalize on small but loyal fan base.
I think I don't know about that. I remember that Fallout first thing. It's just, I mean, I didn't agree with that when that happened. I just didn't like that. I remember it was like it was $100 a year, and then I'm trying to remember what that I remember I did a rant on that what it, I'm trying to remember exactly what it did. It gave you like more crafting stuff. It gave you more space in your chest. Yeah.
And solo session, I believe.
It was, yeah, but the thing is, like, players shouldn't have to pay like $100 for something like that. If they want to play like a solo session, they should be able to. If they want to, like, have more inventory in their chest, they should be able to. I don't think that charging players for something like that, I don't think that would be good.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good solution. I'm saying it's one of the possible solutions to capitalize on a small but loyal group of players, because that seems what's happening to Red Dead Online. It's not like tons of new players are constantly buying the game. Recently, yes, there are, but usually, let's remember like a year ago what happened. You probably remember from January to July, basically, game was like slowly dying. Anyone stopped playing. It was like really bad. I can tell about the stream from the Steam database, sorry, and from the views, from the overall interest from Google Trends. It was like in really bad shape, and so only the most loyal fan base left. So they either think, as it's my optimistic prediction, that they know they will add something big someday, and it will change the way game performs. For example, properties, Mexico, highs, stuff like this. Then we will see many new players and many gold bars purchases, because yes, it's kind of hard to play as a new player. And stuff like this. I hope that it's a plan. What do you think? Or it's like a Dutch plan? It seems like a Dutch plan to you.
I would like to see more content to the game, but at the same time, it's just because of Rockstar's lack of communication. They do such a terrible job at getting people excited for the game, and like it's just people have no idea what could come out. And you know what pisses me off about Reddit Online is that you have people that have been asking basically since day one of the game come out. Like people have pretty much said exactly what they wanted. They want like like you said, they want heists. They want properties to the game. They want a possible map expansion. Like everything that people have is very clear, like what people want on this game. But yet Rockstar just adds really random stuff to the game, like not moonshiner, naturalist. Like who asked for naturalist? Like I don't.
Not a single person would ever ask for something like naturalist. Like I really think, they might say, well, here we had this letter from, I don't know, John, who's asking for ability to sedate animals because that's his dream. I guarantee you there is not a single letter like this, even from a single person. No one was asking for this, and they've spent so much resources on doing this. Actually, it's super weird to me. I don't know why it's happening actually. Yeah, naturalist is a perfect example. Or let's say part of the naturalist updates is animal transformation. What is that? Who need it? Why it's so unfinished and weird? How they came up with this awesome idea? So, not awesome. It's sarcasm. What do you think? It's some sort of a manager who decides to do this because he wanted to sedate animals for some reason. I don't know why. Why is this going on?
I think that they did Naturalist because Naturalist was an easy update that they can make that can make it seem like they were adding a big DLC to the game. Like they added like a bunch of legendary animals, like a legendary animal each week, and they added the ability to sedate all these animals and study them, and they would just add these cards for like these animals, like you take a picture and stuff like that. But in reality, the most important thing about that is just getting the animal sample. Like everything else, like the picture, the studying, that's just useless. It doesn't do anything for you, like in the book. So I think that they just added that stuff in to make it seem like it's some big update when in reality it's not. And I can tell that people just weren't really excited for the Naturalist because I remember when the legendary bounties were added with Frontier's Pursuits, and every Tuesday I would do a video on like new legendary bounty, how to capture them on 5-star difficulty, and like the views weren't like that big at first, but then they started growing and growing and growing, and I can see that people like these bounty hunter guides that I was making. And then like with the animals, like the legendary animals, I would try making guides for that, and when I would make a guide for that, it would get nowhere near the amount of views as like the legendary bounties. I could tell that people just weren't as excited for it, and most of the time I couldn't even make a guide for most of the animals because I would go to the area where the legendary animal was supposed to spawn, and I would literally ride around for 3 hours, like 3 real hours. I would ride around trying to find that animal, and I would not be able to find it. And that's
they were broken until they've made this, small populated lobbies. Legendary animals were definitely broken, and it's another, style of Rockstar to release updates that is so unpolished and not tested that the core mechanics is broken definitely, and no one can enjoy it. Because legendary animals, after all, is the most interesting part of an update, of Naturalist update, because no one cares about sedating regular animals, or even about sedating animals in general. All players that I know is not interested in this stuff at all. All they care about, hunting and collecting all these garment sets and killing all these legendary animals. And this stuff was broken. It was so weird to me. I mean,
you know what I'll say about Naturalist? Last thing about that is there's so many people that I see with different playstyles in this game. Like I see people that just do Moonshiner, and they don't really do anything else but Moonshiner. There's people that I know that just do Collector, and they don't do anything else but Collector. And then there's people that just do mainly Trader, and then there's people that do mainly Bounty Hunter. But I have not met one single person that just mainly does Naturalist as like their moneymaker. Like I haven't met, like maybe people do it on the side, but I haven't met one person who just does Naturalist as their main source of money. I haven't seen that. Every other role, I see people main source of money Moonshiner, main source of money Bounty Hunter, main source of money Collector. but I haven't seen anybody with like main source of money as like natural as doing it. It's just people just don't like it. They find it boring. It's weird. It wasn't a terrible DLC. It's not like it was glitchy or anything, but it was just so boring. Like it's not what we needed. At least it was some content we got because the game really needed content at that point. But it was just really boring.
Well, maybe there is no main naturalist because it's not that profitable. Again, kind of weird, but the profit from this role is definitely the worst. It's not a profitable role at all. Comparing to other roles, at least, I mean.
Yeah, but I get that also, but I think that the main reason is I just think it's boring. I think that's also just why...
not like Moonshiner is too funny or something. I mean, there is not much variety, but moonshining is something that you do once in an hour and get some solid payout, because it's easy $170 from out of nowhere profit in like 6-7 minutes. It's a really good money. In my opinion, Moonshiner is definitely the most profitable role in Red Dead Online, but no one agrees with me. But here is I mean, I want to discuss this with you because you're a famous grinder, as people were referring to you once I announced that we will have a podcast. So, for some reason, when players are comparing, and YouTubers as well, profit from the role, they trying to do this rate earnings per hour, which is not correct in my opinion, because if we're comparing two different activities, we should compare the same amount of time. So for example, some minimum amount of time that they both share, for example 5-minute interval or 1-minute interval, doesn't matter. So it's incorrect to compare these two activities when we're talking about hourly earnings per hour. And if we will calculate earnings per minute for each activity, we will see that Moonshiner is far superior than any other farming method. Only, you know, farming at a Doyle right now with this extra payout is close to the payouts from Moonshiner if we're talking about dollars per minute. What do you think with that?
I agree with you. I think Moonshiner is the best, you know, source of money, and Moonshiner is not just the best source of money, but there's also I also like to look at like money methods as not just making money, but I also look at them for like effort and how complicated it is, because like one activity might get you like more money, for example, like in a few minutes than another activity might, but that activity that gets you more money might be much more complicated. Another person might prefer the other one because they don't have to do much effort. But with Moonshiner, you don't really require much effort. All you gotta basically do is just talk to Marcel, you just buy the mash. I don't even really do the Moonshine missions unless it's the bootlegger missions, unless it's like a daily challenge, or if I find them in the random world. But I just go to Marcel, I just buy the mash, and then I just, you know, I add the flavor, and I add the flavor. It's like $226 around there. Like I have the 2-star. That's what I always do, is 2-star. I don't do the 3-star because I like to save the collectible, but I always do the 2-star, and then it's like every 48 minutes. So every 48 minutes with like the best moonshine it'll produce. So you can't, I guess you can't really do moonshine for like an hour because it takes 48 minutes. But I think a lot of YouTubers, I think the reason they do it per hour is because it's just much more simple. Like if you compare everything and you add everything up together and you say this roll gives you this amount per hour and then this roll gives you this amount per hour, that just seems at least to me, it just seems a lot more simple than just explaining to people that, oh, this one you get this amount in this set of minutes, and then this one you get this set of amount in minutes. I think it's more people look at overall playtime. At least that's just the way I see it.
Yeah, maybe, but it's definitely incorrect to compare like that, because like some activities, for example, collector role, yes, it's definitely the most profitable if we're talking about earnings per hour, because there is no AFK time. You just go, you also do all stuff all the time, and you all the time gathering this collectible. It gives you a lot of money per hour, but it's like you have to walk all this time, and actual earnings per minute are not so impressive if you think about it, because from 60 minutes that you spend collecting collectibles, you have to do something all the 6 minutes. So it's not correct to compare it to Moonshiner, where from 1 hour you can stay AFK for 48 minutes, even more, I would say like 53 minutes in general. So how can these two be compared?
Well, what I don't like is I don't like how people just look at like one role. Like if you're trying to analyze just one role, then I guess that's good. But I see a lot of these, you know, and I see this for GTA also, where like, you know, people ask me like, you know, what's the best business like to use in this game? And like, yes, there are certain businesses that get you more money, like per hour or like every few minutes than other businesses. But my question is, you know, why limit yourself to just one source of making money? Because like the beauty about Red Dead Online is that you can multitask and you can do like a lot of this stuff. Like for instance, like go to your moonshine shack, buy mash, let that start producing. Go to your camp, make sure that your camp is filled up on like supplies and materials. Those two will start producing. Then in the meantime, start up a bounty hunter mission while the camp and the trader's producing. And while you're doing the bounty hunter mission, get the guy in the back of your horse, keep him there, and then just use a collector map and find collectibles along the way. So at that point, you're basically running 4 roles at the exact same time. So you're making money in 4 different ways: the bounty hunter, the trader, the collector, and the moonshiner. And I think that's the best. That is the best way to make money. Not
Actually,
just to go for just one specific role.
It's interesting, but what you're talking about is almost a video that I've almost made once I saw infamous bounties, because unlike with legendary bounties, while you're making infamous bounties, you can your moonshiner shack is producing and trader camp is producing, creeps making goods, so you can actually use this, because you cannot do legendary bounties and all this stuff at the same time. But when I saw infamous bounties, I was like, wow, now I have this best farming method, and I've made all the calculations, but there was one problem. This $75 is a one-time offer. I actually found this out when I was almost finished the video, and I was like, no, Rockstar, why you made such a cheap move adding this one-time I don't know, payment for infamous bounties? It was really weird to me why they have made this move. I was really surprised, but
And
still it's good.
And that's the thing, is I can't believe that they were that cheap to just cut us out of $75 even in the game. Because when you look at that board and you like each board takes like 3 missions to complete, and you capture like a target and you see the X on their like head, and you think to yourself, if I capture all these targets, I'm probably gonna get a bonus, right? Well, you only get the bonus the first time. So I think that they made a major mistake by doing that just the first time. And that's like, you know, that's one of the reasons that like Bounty Hunters was just such a disaster, like that, and just like the daily challenge nerf and just like a combination of other factors. So that's just why a lot of people were pissed off about it.
You know what was I mostly pissed off about this update? It's like I see these elements of an outlaw pass with, you know, these real skills, like improvement for amount of ammo that you can carry, teleport from the wilderness camp, and, you know, was 3 pieces of meat being cooked at once. I see it as a not a pay to win, but small element, and let's say like first step to some future pay to win, because it's a limited time offer. It's available only for prestigious currencies that you can buy for real money, and it actually affects your gameplay, because some people say, well, it doesn't affect too much, but carrying twice more shotgun shells and regular ammo for pistols is actually affects PvP, because in the Showdown series you can effectively use regular ammo for pistols if you play with Painted Black and headshot strategy. It doesn't matter which ammo to use in this situation for you, so you will have more ammo. It's not like it's small advantage, super small advantage, but it's a first step. That was what pissed me the most in this December update. No, of course, not the most, because daily challenge nerf is still superior, but let's say that was something what made me worry about. What do you think? Do you agree, by the way, that it's starting to look like pay to win when something like that is added to Outlaw Pass? Not only cosmetics, but real useful game mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, it's when anybody can carry more ammo than another player, that's definitely going to put them at an advantage. And I've had it, I've had it happen where like, I'm just riding randomly in the world and I forget to turn on defensive mode and I just have like a level 5 just shoot me and kill me and then like after that like I just killed them like a few times and like they can't even hurt me because like I just have much more experience with the game and I'm not even a PvP god at this game. I consider myself like, okay at the game, but I know people that are just much better than me at the game, and with just carrying much more ammo in the game, they have a much more advantage. Thankfully, they can't. It's not more special ammo that they can carry, just regular ammo, but it's just that they can carry it. And most players like that you can carry more ammo, but the issue is that it being locked behind the Outlaw Pass. Which,
and it forces new players to get this outlaw pass, and it's not that easy for a new player who's not, grinding. I have this second account of a low-level character, which is not even low-level anymore after my tests and experiments, but I still have like huge lack of gold because I don't do daily challenges and I earn something in PvP, but I still have not enough to buy Outlaw Pass. And even I thinking about like, okay, maybe I will buy it for $5 just in case to have these abilities forever, because who knows, maybe they will disappear, maybe there will no possibility to buy them in the future, and I think it's quite possible. So it definitely forces some players to buy gold.
One thing that I can tell you, and this might be like a bad thing looking towards Red Dead Online's future, is I remember exactly what happened on GT Online, because what they did with GT Online, you could pretty much argue that what they did with the game turned it into kind of pay to win, because if a new player buys like a bunch of shark cards and then buys like a bunch of military vehicles with those shark cards, they have a huge advantage. And I'll say this, I remember when there wasn't all these crazy military vehicles in GTA, and people just had to fight like in the streets, or they would like steal the buzzard, or they would steal like the laser from the Fort Zancudo. But as they added more and more military vehicles, the problem just became worse, because a lot of these military vehicles are really expensive. You also got to upgrade them to be able to use them to the full potential, and whenever it's any kind of PvP in GT Online, it's almost always involving one of these military vehicles, most notably the Oppressor Mark II. And if you don't have these vehicles, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage. So it's like you have to buy these vehicles if you want to be able to compete with other players. And other players can't fully, it's like all other players can't fully enjoy the game if they don't have these vehicles. That's why I was trying to show on my channel for a long time that like you can defend yourself without needing the Oppressor Mark II, because the Oppressor Mark II just completely broke the game and ruined everything.
Okay, but what do you think? It's like a two-part question. Might this happen to Red Dead Online? I mean, the same situation. And second, if yes, what kind of oppressor they will add to Red Dead Online that you will have to buy for gold, for example, and it will give you a huge advantage? What can it possibly be?
I think I know the answer to that. I know a lot of people have actually, the War Wagon specifically, people have said that if they add that to the game, like the one that the Legendary Bounty, the recent one, the turret, people are saying that would be overpowered, but I don't even think the War Wagon would really be overpowered, my personal opinion, because you would need two people. You would need two people to use it, one person to drive it, another person to be in the turret, and all you would basically need to do is just shoot the horses, and then the thing is just useless. So I don't think the War Wagon would be broken like people say it would be. But what I do think possibly could break the game is if they add some kind of overpowered gun. Like if they add some kind of overpowered gun, that would probably be the equivalent of like an Oppressor Mark II. Because you remember back in the day with the varmint rifle. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that crap.
That varmint rifle. Like I still shake sometimes thinking about the varmint rifle, because I just hated that thing so much. But it was the varmint rifle. Like that thing had like almost no recoil, perfect accuracy, and it was just constant headshot, varmint rifle. It's like, so stupid. It's like a rifle that's meant to hunt like small game animals, and it's like the most effective like weapon in PvP.
And it's the cheapest. It's the cheapest. It's the cheapest like big weapon, and it was. So maybe how is they call it? It's sharp rifle, and they call it buffalo rifle in Red Dead Online. How it might work? It might be an extremely powerful like a sniper rifle, but without actual scope, so you can use auto aiming on this. It possibly can.
I think that's the closest thing we're gonna get to something like the Oppressor Mark II in Red Dead. Is you're probably gonna have some gun that's gonna be really broken, overpowered, and like I know people have said, oh, why doesn't Rockstar add like an automatic gun that you carry around or like a semi-auto rifle or something? I think if they added that, I think that would break the game. And yes, I know that there was like automatic weapons that people could run around with back then, but they were really rare. And at the same time, is if they had some really rare automatic weapon, it would be like Battlefield 1 all over again. It would ruin the immersion of the game, make it even more unrealistic, and it would just, I think it would just break the game. And even a semi-auto rifle, if they added a semi-auto rifle to this game, I think that would also ruin the game, because it's just all other rifles are lever action, single shot, bolt action, and then you have like a semi-auto, which is everyone's spamming it so quickly. And even if a semi-auto doesn't do a lot of damage, just the fact that it can fire faster, somebody could just constantly spam at the head, and that's all they would need to do, and just constant headshot, just like the varmint rifle. The fast fire rate, the low recoil, and people just abuse the hell out of the thing.
Well, yes, actually they might do it, because, you know, semi-automatic shotgun is based on a real model of a weapon, of Browning shotguns that didn't exist at the time. But they added it, so they might actually add something like semi-automatic rifle, for example, from the future.
That's the Browning A2, the semi-auto shotgun, I think it is. But even with the shotgun, they had the shotgun in the original Red Dead Redemption, so I think that's why they brought it in. But I don't think that shotgun is broken at all, because you need to get close range to get to somebody, and I think that's fine.
Yeah, it's not overpowered.
If they added just some random, like, you know, I think there was the Mondragoon that was like a semi-auto Mexican rifle, and just I wonder what year that gun came out, but if I even see it here, okay, it says the Mondragoon was in service in 1911, so it's I don't think I can't see it coming in the game, thankfully. But at Rockstar, I could see them adding some ridiculous, like, semi-auto rifle, something like really rare, and that I think could possibly break the game. And that's why you need to be really careful with what they add to the game, because I don't want to see a varmint rifle 2.0. I really don't want to see that, because that would just be terrible.
Well, actually, they've added something like that. I'm talking about improved bow. I've even made a video about it, and I called it Red Dead Online Oppressor. Because here is the thing with this bow: it completely ruins free roam PvP, in my opinion, because it can mark target on an insane distance with painted black and send these dynamite arrows that are basically overpowered. And which is interesting, they fixed it next week after I made this video. But then, if you remember, there was some updates that broke the game. Remember the 3 days with all these bold NPCs coming out of nowhere? There was this moment, and they rolled back to the previous version of the game, and somehow it made this improved bow OP again, and now you can send this dynamite arrow for like as far as you can see almost, and it in free roam PvP is kind of joke because of this, especially deliveries. Any low level, not a low level player, but a low skill player can like destroy your trader delivery and you will not even see him probably. He can send dynamite arrow to your horse and second to you and kill you both, and you will not even understand where did it came from. So it's like a first step to this overpowered oppressors, unfortunately, but it doesn't seem to work actually. No one even really mentions this.
And I mean, that's what I like about Red Dead Online, is it doesn't tent. It has had annoying things in the past, but when it comes down to it, it's still nowhere near as much of the problem. And I mean, I don't like constantly bring up GTA in this issue, but it's just their other Rockstar game. It's just the PvP on this game, it does have issues. There are things that, you know, could be fixed, but at the same time, it's still nowhere near the amount of problem that GTA Online has, where just everyone's constantly spamming futuristic vehicles and blowing each other up. It's nowhere to that degree. At least in this game, there's ways to counter it. You have the parlay system, you have defensive mode, you can press charges on them. There's just a bunch of different things that you can do to just prevent it from happening.
But wait, in GTA Online, as far as I know, there is private lobbies, right?
There are private lobbies, but the problem is the private lobbies don't let you do a lot of activities. So even though there's a private lobby, like you can't run every single business that you have in the game. Like you can't run that. So imagine
Oh.
if they had like private lobbies in Red Dead Online, and they wouldn't let you go do collector, or they wouldn't let you do bounty hunter, or something like that, or they wouldn't let you do trader. That would be like the equivalent probably in GT Online. I mean,
Oh,
in Red Dead
yeah,
Online.
it actually makes sense. So anyway, but why don't we get the same private lobby for people who just want to, I don't know, chill and hunt in Red Dead Online yet? Why it's not an option if it's in GTA Online? Especially, I don't get it.
I think the reason that they don't want to do private lobbies, and I'm not defending this, but I think the reason they don't want to do it is because Reddit Online does not have the same player base as GT Online, and they probably think that if they had private lobbies to this game, the majority of players are going to play in private lobbies. They're not going to play in public lobbies, and they think that public lobbies might basically die out if they had private lobbies. So I think that's one compromise they had, is they probably had the player blip system when they took the player blips off, which I think that was one of the best things they did when they took the player blips off the map, because then you can't just chase players across the map. At least you have to get close to them to know where they are.
But they still try to, yeah, they did it, I agree. I believe that was in February. But they still try to encourage PvP among players. As PvP is always among players. But anyways, they try to encourage PvP as much as they possibly can. Because, you know, not last week, but a few weeks ago, they give 800 explosive rounds to like... according to my data that I collected on my channel, to around quarter of the player base. Doesn't matter which level was not affecting anything, doesn't matter whether you was buying like gold or not. It seems like they randomly picked like 25% of the player base and sent them 800 explosive ammo each. So, in my opinion, the only reason to do this is to try to encourage PvP and, you know, turn Red Dead Online free roam into something that is more similar to GTA Online, at least a little bit. So, that is what it looks to me.
The thing about this is they could encourage PvP in this game and make it fun, and like an example of this could be, imagine they added some kind of like outlaw role to the game, and they did something more with the honor system, where, you know, you could be like a lawman, like a good person, or you could be like a total outlaw, and there might be like a situation where there's like a train that's like carrying valuable loot or something like that, and like one posse like jumps on the train and robs it and like maybe takes some of the rich people hostage. And then what happens is the another posse like that has high honor, they might see that on their map and say like, oh, this low honor posse is like robbing the train, do you want to stop them or whatever? And then they go over there and they try to stop them, and then you could have kind of like role play like bandits versus like you know, vigilantes, or kind of like bounty hunters, stuff like that. I think that could encourage fun PvP without like and get away from all the current like PvP, because most of the PvP right now, like when I just get shot, it's just like for no reason. It's just like somebody shoots me in the face. It's like, why? You know, there's like no purpose to it.
Well, now we have this bounty hunter role, and with improved bounty hunter you can catch players who has more than $5 bounty on the hand. So
yeah.
it's like this mechanic, but not quite the same. So maybe, yeah, I agree, having fractions, some sort of fractions in the game will be much more interesting if they will ever do this. It will be super cool. But you know, they try to increase, to make us, to force us to do PvP just because. And I guess in GTA Online that's the reason why people do PvP mostly in a free roam. There is no like special profit in this and special motivation. As far as I know, I don't play GTA Online, but there is no real reasons for people most of the time to really go on their oppressors and kill random strangers.
Yeah.
Also,
One guy said in your chat that they could do it where like players of low honor might be able to like save bounty targets from other players. I mean, I could see that as possibly being. I mean, some players might get annoyed by that, like people trying to ruin their bounty missions. But I could see that as, you know, possibly adding some kind of role play element to it.
Yeah, there are actually many ways they can improve this existing system of a bounty hunter. And maybe they actually will, because I didn't really enjoy this update in general in December, but what they did to Bounty Hunter was actually good. They like fixed the role, because it was, in my opinion, that was the worst role in Red Dead Online, the base Bounty Hunter, not counting legendary bounties, because they were not added right in the, you know, this Frontier Pursuits update, but base mechanic of the bounty hunter role was the worst in my opinion, and now it looks kinda cool. These infamous bounties are really enjoyable, and new legendary bounties are super cool in my opinion. So maybe they will fix it someday and make it even better. Do you think we will, by the way, what it's obvious that we will have a trader role upgrade. What do you think it might be?
They might add the war wagon to that. If they did a trader role, I could see them doing something like that, like the war wagon. But I wonder like what they would do exactly to, like, because well, bounty hunter, you had infamous bounties, but what could they do to the trader? Like I could see them adding the war wagon to that, maybe for sales, but what else could they possibly do? I have no idea what they could do with that.
I hope it's gonna be fishing. Like, not because I like fishing, but because I would like to see my own boat or canoe or something like this, or maybe big ship, who knows. But it's probably not gonna happen, it's too much for a small upgrade, but it's, who knows. Anyway, so there is a question I wanted to ask you, because people are asking me all the time, why, what can you do in Red Dead Online? Why would you even play this game? It's a kind of weird question, but I've been asked this constantly, especially on my Russian language streams. Is there something to do in Red Dead Online? That's how it sounds originally. How would you answer to this question?
I would say that if you're a new player on the game, and you just get on the game, there is plenty of stuff for you to do if you're a new player. Like, I mean, there's the whole, you know, the land of opportunity missions. You do that the first time. You have then the bounty hunter, the moonshiner, the collector, the trader, the naturalist. So you got a lot of stuff to level up in between. But once you finish all of that and you max out everything, there isn't really much to do except, you know, grind the current roles and wait in between DLCs. But what I like about Red Dead Online the most, I like the time period. I just really like the setting, the time period, the Wild West. I like how unique and detailed the map is. You know, I like the graphics. I like, you know, how smooth the game runs. I have a lot of fun with it. It's a very unique game. It's very different than any other game. Like, it's open world. You can play with your friends. You can play in a group together, and you can run, you know, different missions, different activities with your friends. That's what I just really like about it.
So basically, what can you do is you can enjoy the world. Because that's what I answer most of the time. But in my opinion, it's not really the answer that person who's asking what can you do in this game is want to hear and will like accept and will buy this game or something. But it's honest answer. That's why I play the game, because the world is so cool, because I like this Wild West style, and actually world feels alive. It's really well done. I mean, all the small details. Of course, it's a world from Red Dead Redemption 2, but it feels super good. Anyway, so now let's continue with questions from the chat. I ask all of you who's watching. Oh, we have 706 viewers right now, which is kind of cool. Thank you to all who came to the stream and was talking in chat and placed a like, you know, stuff like this. Now it's time for you to ask some questions, to ask Professional some question. And the first question goes from someone whose nickname is Only PvP Cat. And the question is, so there is a rumors that GTA Online will be using Rage engine version of Red Dead Redemption 2 for new standalone edition and GTA 5 for next console generation. What do you think? Do you think, first of all, it's it's actually true? And second, if so, what do you think? It's a good news or bad news for Red Dead Online and the perspective of this game?
I think that if Rockstar was to do something like that, I think that they would need to put a lot of effort into remodeling the Red Dead Redemption engine into being able to run GTA 5, and that would just be a lot more effort for them. I don't think that Rockstar is actually interested in doing that. What I think this GTA 5, release on PS5 and Xbox Series X, I think that this is just going to be, I think it's just going to be GTA 5, the same engine pretty much, just with a little bit better graphics. That's just what I think it might be. More HD, just more stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be I don't think it's gonna be a whole new engine, because remember when they did that trailer for the GTA 5 Enhanced? It was I don't know if you saw my video on it, but I made a video in which I pretty much showed that they were using PS3 footage.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. It was fun.
PS3 footage in their PS5 trailer. So like I doubt, like, if they're being so lazy that they're gonna use PS3 footage to show like the PS5 trailer. I don't think that, I can't see them really doing that, like running the Red Dead Redemption engine. And also, even if they did that, like they ran on the Red Dead engine, you would have like all these kids and all these other people that would just be saying, oh, GTA is so much better than Red Dead now, blah blah blah. When Red Dead was actually the game that originally ran on that engine, not GTA. But so I just can't. I just personally can't see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen.
So you're like optimistic about Red Dead Online and pessimistic about GTA Online.
Well, I think that, and well, yeah, but I think that, and I see Red Dead Online as the future. I do, and I think that it has a lot of potential to grow, and I think GTA's life cycle might be coming to an end. This is coming from somebody that's done a lot of videos on GTA, and the reason I think this is because GTA Online has been running for well over 7 years now, and I think that a lot of GTA YouTubers are making a big mistake when they're not looking to play other games or do other content, because I think that one day, out of nowhere, it's going to happen where Rockstar is going to cut support for GTA Online. Not that they're going to cut the servers. The servers are going to stay up pretty much, for many years to come. But I mean, one day they're just going to randomly say on the newswire, we're releasing another DLC, and this is our final DLC. There will be no more GTA Online DLCs. It'll probably be a big DLC, their final one. But that's probably why one of the reasons they released Cayo Perico, because they wanted GTA to possibly go out with a bang with like a big DLC, and they're still gonna have another DLC, because if Cayo Perico was the final one, they would have said so. But one day they will say no more DLCs. This is the final one, and at that point, I think I know what's going to happen, and I think there's going to be so many kids and so many other people that are going to start complaining, and they're going to say, oh, Red Dead Online took content away from this game, and blah, 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 this, and they're going to say, oh, because of stupid Red Dead, GTA is not getting any more updates. I can totally see people complaining about that and saying stuff like that, when in reality, it's not even because of Red Dead, it's just the fact that the game's been running for 7 years. People point to it being on PS5 as proof of it having, like, more updates for years to come, but that's not necessarily proof. All they're pretty much doing is they're just bringing it to PS5. They could bring it to PS5, release one final update, and say, that's it, we're done. No more updates with the game. At least that's the way I see it.
And talking about future, I saw super awesome questions that I actually wanted to ask you as well. Miran.Rex19 asks, do you think there will be an Undead Nightmare 2 someday?
No. And the reason I don't think that, and I do want Undead Nightmare, so it's not that I'm hating on it. I just don't think they'll do it. Because if they would have, if Undead Nightmare was to come out, it would have come out by now. Something would have been announced or something. Because remember, the original Red Dead Redemption one was, I think it was only 1 year after the game came out that they released Undead Nightmare. So it was like, Red Dead Online's were out for already 2 months, 2 years, over 2 years, and remember when they had that leak on Red Dead Online, like around Halloween time, where we saw kind of like those, those zombie NPCs, yeah. And a lot of people got excited for that and were saying, "Oh, this is possibly Undead Nightmare." But like I was telling people, it's probably just going to be an adversary mode. It's not going to be Undead Nightmare. And then when it came out, you saw a bunch of people get disappointed, thinking that it was going to be Undead Nightmare. So.
Because it was not even a zombies. It turned out it's just an NPCs that look like zombies with shotguns and weapons. It's stupid.
Yeah.
So next question: what is your dream role that can came to Red Dead Online someday? What is your
Oh,
dream role?
I have two kind of. One's not really a role, but another one is. But I'll say it both really quick. The first one is kind of like an outlaw role, and I want a role that specifically focuses on low honor, because the roles that do give out honor, are just default. Like bounty hunter, you can get low honor with just killing the targets, but the game really wants you to bring them in. So I want a role that specifically, like, you do the main activity, the best way to make money with that role, and you get low honor. Like, that's something that I would like to see, and that's where they could bring in the honor system and add more, role-playing elements to that, where if you have low honor, you might be able to unlock certain things, and then if you have high honor, you might be able to unlock certain things, and then if you have high and low honor, like, certain things might also be locked to you, like, not current things, but like new things possibly, and there would be like advantages and disadvantages to having high and low honor, and it would make it balanced, so it's not like where one system is better than the other. And how they could run an outlaw system is they could do like a series of robberies, like, because I don't want to see like a heist in Red Dead Online being something like GTA, like where you just do the preps and stuff like that. I want to see it being in free mode. And there's several banks in the game, like they got the Armadillo Bank, the Rhodes Bank, they got the Valentine Bank, the Saint Denis Bank. What they could do is every in-game day, they could have it where a random bank is like open, and it's random. So there's not really a way to memorize which one is going to be next. And players could go up to that bank and they could rob it. They could like plant dynamite, or they could kind of like crack this. They already have the animations for that system, and you get the money back, and then you got to bring it to some place, maybe your camp, maybe some other place, and other players in the meantime can stop. They could also add like a random train that drives around the map with valuable loot, and that could spawn and you could rob it. Or they could possibly add like an armored carriage or something like that with like a bunch of guards, like somewhere around the map delivering something, and you could ambush it along the way. And then other groups of players could try to stop you. I think that if they added something like that, like robberies, like more open world robberies, like different types of robberies, not just banks. If they did just banks, I think it would get boring really quick.
There was a casino boat also can be used as a place that we can rob.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, the boats, the big casino boats. I could see them just add just a bunch of different things to this game. And the second thing that I wanted to see them add is like properties and mansions. And what I was thinking is like something like single player they could do, where you could like choose a house in the catalog, and what you could do is you could then build a house, and like you have to craft the house, and like you actually gather materials or something like that. You bring it to your house, and then like you do the animations where you're actually building the house. Maybe I'm asking for too much here, but I would love to see something like that, like where you actually craft that. If you actually craft your own house, you find the building materials, then you build it up. You actually be kind of proud of that, because you'll say, I built this house up, I found all the materials, and I got this together. And don't do it where it's just the same exact model of a house. Do it where there's different types of models of houses, so that everybody has a unique house or a different form of house. And they could do something maybe like Fallout 76, where like you build up a house, and then if your house is like somewhere next to somebody else's, they'll move your house or put it in a different location or something like that. I could totally do that, because there's so much open space in the world. Like there's so many places where they could put new cabins for new houses. It's not like GTA where they're limited on where they could place buildings. There's plenty of places that they could place new buildings in this game.
And actually, it's a good solution to to fix the economics, because it can be extremely expensive, buying all these materials and some stuff for your home, like, I don't know, decorations can take like insane amount of money, so it will fix economics. So yeah, I guess it's a good solution. Next question is from Sergio Sanchez, and it's like, what's your favorite clothes? And I would say, like, what's your favorite maybe outfits as well, not only clothes, or styles of clothes in Red Dead Online?
That's kind of a difficult question to answer. The thing is, I don't even, a lot of the majority of the clothes in the game, I just have some of them saved as outfits, and I don't even remember like their names, because there's just so many. But typically I like if you see on like the last stream that I did, like one of my favorite outfits is when I have like that kind of like black brown suit jacket. I have like the brown hat. I typically like a cowboy style, but I like to mix it up also. Like I have one outfit that's kind of like a kind of scary, where it's like a black tuxedo, black suit pants, black shoes, and I have the black tall hat with the black mask. And I kind of inspired that design from like Jack the Ripper in in what was it, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So I kind of inspired that design from him. That was kind of a Halloween outfit that I made. But I usually try to mix up my clothes and just try to run all types of styles. I just don't remember the exact clothing names because there's just so many I've saved as outfits.
But are you you know, clothing guy? Do you change outfits too often? Are you keen on this stuff in general?
Not really. Like sometimes I'll be running the same outfit for like a few weeks, so it's not necessarily like I like when I'm running an outfit for way too long. That's the point where I'll change it and mix something up. But usually no. Like on when they had the snow stuff, like I put on like really warm clothes because my core just kept constantly going down because I didn't have I didn't have like a coat on it at the time, so I had to put something on there. But that's what I like about Red Dead is that like clothes actually do something. Like they keep you warmer or keep you cooler. So I do like that.
Yeah, and actually affects the game. So a few more questions. Who are your top 3 favorite Rockstar characters? Not some particular game, but Rockstar in general. And why? Like, briefly, why? Why it's Arthur Morgan? Is Arthur... I cannot say it even.
I like Arthur Morgan a lot because I like him especially with his character development because if you remember at the beginning of the game, he's not that caring of a person at the beginning of the game. He doesn't really, he's not, I wouldn't say he's a bad person, but he's just not sympathetic. He's not caring. And then they have a lot of character development with him, especially later on in the game with like spoilers when he gets sick and is dying at the end of the game. You see his personality just changes so much where he tries to be a better person. He tries to help more people, like especially like with that the Strauss missions when you're going to like collect money from like people, and he starts seeing like at first like he didn't care about like collecting money from people, but then he realizes that like Strauss is just taking advantage of people and like he just stealing so much money from people where people are having these massive debts where they can't pay them off. He really does change around. He tries to save the gang at the end. And that's what I like. And he even changes his view on Marston because at the beginning of the game he really hates Marston, but then at the end of the game he tries to actually help John because like John he sees like the only person he can actually, one of the few people that he can actually save, because most of the people are just following Dutch so blindly, and Arthur was like his biggest fan, but then he sees the Dutch starts going crazy at the end of the game, so that's why I like Arthur. But now for the GTA series, my favorite character in the GTA series probably have to be Nico. I like Nico because he's like a very, very different type of character than they had from previous GTA games. He's a very mysterious character. He sounds like me.
He sounds like me a little bit, I believe, for English language speakers. I guess. No.
I mean, everyone has a different accent, but I mean, I like Nico because he's just different. He's a tragic character. You hear about like his past. Like his past is really relevant. Like a lot of other GTA characters, like they had like pasts before the story starts. They had like pasts that they would mention. Like you had CJ in San Andreas when he like left Los Santos. His brother died in the past too. And then you had like Tommy Vercetti in like Vice City, where he had like Sonny Forelli betrayed him in like 1971. But like for Nico, you had a character where he had pretty much lost everyone that he cared about except like Roman. Like everyone just getting massacred in it was the Bosnian War that Nico fought in, I believe. Where he got the Bosnian War because he was Serbian and he got betrayed by somebody from his village, and then he spent his entire life like just going crazy trying to find out who exactly it was that had betrayed him and his village. And also it's also the thing about Nico is that you see that he's just such a complex character where just it's very different in how he reacts to situations. I also like how he has like choices in the game, but if you remember that one scene at the end of it's near the end of GTA 4 where what is his name? Darko Brevic. That was the guy who betrayed him. When he finally meets Darko, it's like it's not what he expected at all after waiting for that many years. That this guy had like gotten everybody in his village killed for like $1,000 for like drug money, And then at the end, like you hear Darko saying like, how much does he charge for killing somebody? And he calls him like a hypocrite. And if you think about it, Nico is kind of a hypocrite because he's constantly getting paid by people to to kill other people. But then Darko took money and just basically sold everyone else out in the village. And then at the end, you have the choice of like killing him or sparing him. And I think it's much better just to spare him and just leave him there. But that's pretty much the summary why I like Nico, because he's just a very unique character. And now third character. I probably like Max Payne, because Max Payne is just a pretty tragic character. It's also that like he lost his wife and his daughter, and he has never been the same after that. And it's also that he just has the best commentary. Like I think Max Payne probably has the best commentary out of like all of the Rockstar characters, because he just comments on everything. Like especially Max Payne 3, like he'll make all the funniest comments on like a lot of the stuff on his thoughts and everything.
Have you seen Have you seen movies about Max Payne?
I saw the movie when I was a kid. I didn't really like it that much. I
Yeah,
thought that it was weird.
Pretty
it was
lame.
Weird.
It was really lame. I played Max Payne. I actually enjoyed it, and then the movie came out, and I went with my friends to see it, and it was like so bad. It's not even that. Maybe it's not even that bad. It just cannot compare to the level of the game. Let's put it.
It's how I feel about the 2015 Hitman movie, where like in the game he's like so quiet, stealth assassin, but in the movie he's just like crazy. I'm gonna kill everyone. Like that's just shooting everything. It's just this. That's just the 2007 Hitman movie. Even though that was kind of action packed too, the 2007 movie was so much better than the 2015 movie, because the 2015 movie just way too much action in it. He's a stealth assassin. He's not this crazy Rambo character that they have.
What about Warcraft? World of War, it was just Warcraft movie. Have you seen it?
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Oh.
No, I didn't. I don't even really play World of Warcraft. Like when I was in like early high school, I played that a little bit at my friend's house, but I never really got into it much.
Oh, I see. I played a lot of World of Warcraft one, and
I did.
Second Warcraft, not the World of Warcraft, and first one, and obviously the third one. If it was third one, maybe I'm missing something. But anyway, I played them all. I was a big fan, and I actually enjoyed the movie, which was kind of weird. I really enjoyed it, but it failed for some reason. So the questions that I saw, and it's a awesome question to end up the podcast, is about horses. Do you have favorite horse in Red Dead Online, and if so, which one is that?
I use the Black Arabian horse mostly because I just like its speed on it. I just like how fast it is. When I primarily look at horses, I just look at them mostly for speed, because if I have speed, I can get from one place to another, and even if I'm getting shot at, I can just get away from people. So, that's just.
I want to disappoint you, but there is no such thing. The one bar. Oh, I see legendary animal. The one bar of speed from the horse statistics that you can see in. You know how much it equals in real life?
I know it's very little. Me and my friend have done it before, where it's most horses. I think they have the same speed, but some horses get more tired than other horses. But I think I get what you mean. That it's not that noticeable, but
yeah,
I mean.
Less than 1%.
I mean, I like the black. I also like the Black Arabian horse because it's a smaller horse. It's not a really big horse. Like I just don't like really big horses personally. I just prefer smaller horses myself.
Oh, we will disagree here, because I prefer big horses like Shire, like the ones that I'm using right now. It's Ardens. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Ardens. It's just like how they look. They're super cool. Do you want, by the way, to see donkey, purchasable donkey in Red Dead Online?
I mean, they could add it. They had it in the first game where you could actually ride around that thing. I remember how ridiculous it was when people ran around on the donkey in the first game.
With a saddle? It was. I haven't played Red Dead Online first.
Yeah, in the first game they had the donkey and people could ride around on that, and it was kind of ridiculous. I remember that.
So you're not a big fan of this idea?
What, donkeys?
Yeah, donkeys.
No, I'm
purchase-
open to it. If they want to add it, sure, go ahead. I'm not opposed to it.
Because I'm really looking for it. I really want to see it.
Yeah, I would be all for it. I think they could definitely add donkeys in the future.
Here is a comment from chat that we also need zebra and zebra.
Zebra.
I hope.
I mean, I don't even. Could you tame a zebra the same way you could tame a horse? I don't know.
I don't think so. I actually don't think so. That it's possible. I'm not a big expert on this, but I've never seen any footage of someone riding a zebra with a saddle, and if it was possible.
I think zebras are just much more wild than horses, so I don't think it's really possible to tame them either.
Yeah, so I don't want to see. I think like donkey maybe will not ruin the atmosphere of the game, while zebra will definitely look like something like weird and out of place if they will add zebras that you can ride. But it's my personal opinion. And we have, by the way, comment from chat that you cannot tame a zebra, so that's it. So anyway, we are it was a cool podcast. Thank you for joining and discussing the stuff. Again, guys, if you want to check professional channel, link in the description. By the way, it was not last video, but last Red Dead Online video was, in my opinion, really interesting and controversial. So go check it. I actually enjoy it. Oh, the last video was where you were making guide about Virgil. Sorry, I lost. What was your last video? Anyway, it was cool. I saw them. I saw a few of them, and they were cool. So go check the channel. So thank you for joining and discussing this stuff. I hope it was enjoyable for you all as it was for me as well.
Thank you for having me.
Interesting conversation. Thank you and goodbye. Stay healthy and see ya Sunday. So
take care, everyone.
Yeah, take care, guys.